Okay, we are back live from the FPA floor here in Phoenix, Arizona. This is goRIA, and if you've been watching for the past couple of days, you know that we are here live at the FPA National Conference. I'm Chuck Vela, and we have a great guest for this particular episode, the president himself of the FPA National, James Lee.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you for having me, and thank you for attending FPA Conference 2023.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic conference. I've had the chance between these live streams to see some sessions, as always, some top-notch content.
Awesome.
Really good stuff.
Yep.
Okay, and we're going to talk about title protection in just a moment. First, I want to thank our sponsor, LPL Financial. And as I've been saying for the past couple of days, if you like them as an independent broker-dealer, you will love them as an RIA custodian. Excellent value proposition, really worth putting on your checklist as you're mapping out your roadmap to the RIA space. Okay,
Sure.
So we have the privilege of having you with us here. And I know that you have been on an absolute crusade for title protection,
Right.
which I fully support. I think it's hugely important. But for those in the audience that haven't heard about this in detail yet, what is that all about?
Sure. The FPA board last year voted to create a long-term advocacy goal of having legal recognition of the title financial planner through title protection. So really, it's just the regulatory recognition of the title financial planner, meaning that anyone who calls themselves a financial planner should be held to some universally accepted competency and ethical standards. That would create clarity amongst practitioners, consumers, and regulators that anyone who calls themselves a financial planner is actually competent and ethical to provide those services to consumers.
Amazing that's not already the case, right?
It is, today there's a lot of confusion because advisors call themselves investment advisors, wealth managers, wealth advisors, financial planners. And so we believe by creating a title financial planner, consumers will be able to identify and engage with someone who has held or who holds certain ethical and competency standards.
I think that's so important.
Yep.
What's the number right now as far as people out there in the United States calling themselves, financial advisors? It's over 500,000, right?
Yes, yeah.
So 500,000 plus, I think it's closer to 600,000.
Right.
And some of these people are real deal planners, right? They are acting as fiduciaries. They are putting their clients' interests first, and they're doing the right thing.
Sure.
And I would say that's probably the majority, right?
Yep.
I would hope so, and I think so. But there's a subset of that, and you know what I call them? I call them Pinots.
Pinos, yeah.
The Pinot.
Yep.
I'm going to make that happen.
Planners in
keep
name
saying-
only. Yep.
Planners in name only,
Yep.
right? Now, I can smell a Pinot. You could smell a Pinot,
Yes.
right? You can see them a mile away. But the problem is consumers cannot.
Right.
Certainly not as easily,
Right.
right? They see someone well-dressed in an office talking financial stuff. They think they're dealing with a planner.
Right.
Maybe they are, maybe they're not.
Right.
And that's what you're really talking about with this, right?
We are, because when a consumer engages with an advisor, they are relying on that advisor to provide them with smart decisions, smart advice to make them make good money decisions. And as we know, money decisions are so important to the life of a client and their families and the generations to come. So we need a professional called a financial planner who has attained standards in order to provide that advice.
Absolutely. Again, critically important. And that's really the bottom line, advice, right? And, I host goRIA. I love the RIA space. I went RIA myself about 4 years ago, and I'm clearly an enthusiast and advocate for the industry.
Right.
And I often bash, maybe you would say, the broker-dealer side. But I want to be clear on this. I do believe the broker-dealer world is vital and excellent as a product delivery mechanism.
Yes.
As
And
a product.
we need that part of the financial services market to provide the services that they do.
Absolutely.
Right.
But that is not to say they are a good advice delivery mechanism, because they really don't deliver advice the way we see advice as fiduciaries in the RIA space. The problem is the consumers don't know the difference, right? We know the difference, they don't. So again, the broker-dealer world, if you're going in there knowing what you want, and you want someone to say, here's the compare and contrast of these 4 or 5 different products,
Right.
that's good. So I think it's good for the do-it-yourself crowd, right? The sophisticated crowd, the institutional investors. But I promise you, those clients that are going into those broker-dealers, they think they're getting advice.
Right.
they don't know they're getting sold.
Right.
And hopefully
Again,
this will help.
yes. So that what we're trying to do is create clarity
Right.
for the consumer, the practitioner, and the regulator.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's the prognosis? I know it's a difficult battle, and I know
Yes.
you've been working and doing yeoman's work on it, but
Right.
where are we at with this?
So we're still very early in the process. When the board announced the decision, what we decided to do was take a long view approach. We want to gain the perspective and learn the perspectives of all the industry groups in the financial planning ecosystem. Most importantly, we wanted to hear from our members. So we engaged in a listening tour of our members, and we're also talking with other industry associations, consumer groups, government regulators, and policymakers in order to understand all the various perspectives before we determine next steps.
Yep, sounds good. All right, and the couple minutes we have left here,
Yep.
right? We are goRIA.
Yes.
So let's look at this a bit through the RIA lens. You know, everyone is talking about fiduciary care, thankfully.
Yeah.
What have you seen? And we were talking a little bit off camera on
Yeah.
this. What have you seen that translate to as far as numbers of people going from the BD to the RIA space?
So I've seen data that shows that the fastest growing channels are actually the independent RIA and the hybrid RIA.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, consumers are voting with their feet.
Yes.
They are engaging with RIAs and hybrid RIAs who are providing advice in a fiduciary standard of care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good place to end it for today here.
Okay.
So James Lee, president of FPA National, thanks a lot for joining us. It's been a real
Absolutely.
pleasure. And for those in the audience, we have, I think, 3 more of these left. So stand by for some more live streaming. And I will be synopsizing both the days I was here with James and just 9 or 10 other great folks in some podcast. You'll be able to see that in a week or two at investmentnews.com. Once you're there, go to the goRIA tab, and you'll see all of these live streams replayed, as well as a compilation of the podcasts and webcasts and all kinds of great stuff. So on behalf of Investment News and goRIA, I'm Chuck Fala. And again, thanks, James Lee, for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chuck.
Okay, you bet.